Welcome to part two of our third episode of DoubleZero Nonsense, where we discuss the law of attraction and other things regarding mental wellness. In part one, we left off on stories about Trae and Daniel that exemplify their spiritual and mental growth as individuals. Thanks for sticking around, and we hope you enjoy the rest.
But no, so what I hear from that is, and this is one of the first things I told Trae when we began to come together and work out what he was going through at the time. I told him that if you can control a man's emotions, you can control the man, right? And that's what you're saying. And that's pretty much what they have taught us to do, is to live off of emotion, specifically, right? The so-called black people, which we know now are Moors, right? I've kicked that game to every single one of you guys. Yeah. But they have taught us to live off of emotion. And if you can convince a man to live off of emotion, you can control the man. And you can think about how much our people are controlled and convinced and deceived and just brainwashed, right, into, I like to call it Stockholm Syndrome, right? You sympathize with your abuser. And it's not the white man, right, because that's a total farce. But what it deals with is, again, getting back to nature and self and looking back within and saying, this is who I am. This is where I come from. I know me. As long as I'm good with me, everything else will be good, right? And that's what we're getting into when we speak of the law of attraction. So that'll lead me to this. So as we get into the idea, we send out positive vibrations into the universe in order to receive the same in return. We have arrived back to nature, and you know I'm a fan of nature, right? When we speak of the universe, we're actually talking about nature. Each and every one of us is a part of this universe or this one thing, right? Why not? And so if the law of attraction is always between opposites, right? Denotatively speaking, what it actually means, the law of attraction, opposites attract. If it's between opposites, then what we are actually saying is that we are opposed or foreign to nature, right? And that's not true at all, is it? No. We're very much a part of this universe. We can do, and we should, in fact, control our own destiny. To be human, that is what this means, to be able to control your own destiny. Right. And so that is what many have come to understand the law of attraction means as well. So I want you to think about this really carefully, all right? Any other creature on this planet, they have compulsive cycles, okay? A distinct way of living because their capabilities are limited, all right? And as humans, right, ours are not. We have just been convinced that they are. We have just been convinced that all we can do is the 9 to 5. All we can do is work for someone else, not for ourselves, and better our family, our community, right? We have been taught to be dependent on something outside of us when we are the ones who are in control of us. All right. And so what happens during our life cycle that is vastly different as far as, creatures are concerned, right? The creatures who have compulsive cycles, the way we are distinctly different. How can I explain this? Okay. So think about us and think about creatures. Okay. We're born, they're born. We grow up, they grow up. We reproduce, they reproduce. We pass away, they pass away. Thinking and speaking very generally, this is the example I want to use, but these simple similarities, right, because this is all a part of nature, just like those animals and those creatures do those things as we do, it's because it's a part of nature's cycle, life cycle. But we have the ability to conduct these actions consciously, and this is a significant change and difference. Because that is where, again, getting back to mentalism and the universe being mental, we have been giving the gift of discernment, and our consciousness and the level of consciousness that we receive is a lot different from the lions and the tigers and the panthers and the bears, and right. So, but we are all connected. We're all nature. We shouldn't be killing bears and animals and for fur and for food, right? Because we're sustained by nature with fruit and plants and herbs, and we're gonna get into that. But so an example of this, right? If we want to do a push-up, we engage in a tabletop position up, down, 1, up, down, 2. Okay, have you ever seen a tiger or a lion or a bear do a push-up? No, consciously they can't.
But they big.
Okay, that's not
They big and strong though. They might be able to bench more than me.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. But they also abide to nature. They don't do anything outside of themselves. They're not doing push-ups because they weren't given the ability to do push-ups.
Right.
Okay, we were.
They follow the cycles.
Same thing with rehab exercises, right? So if you injure your foot, you're going to conduct your foot to do something in order to better the foot. Right? Say we apply this to our thoughts. If we conduct our thoughts in a positive way, the thought is going to do what we are conducting it to do. If you're thinking negatively, negative things are going to appear because that is what you are conducting, right? E can yell all he wants. That doesn't do anything to me. I'm not the one yelling. That's in his being, right? I have the choice to accept the emotion of reacting negatively and out of character if I want to.
Right.
But I don't have to because it's my choice. Okay? And we are very much in control of what we do.
Hey, bro, and you smiled when you...
You said,
Bro, Trae turned around, frowned, like, who is this? And then Bruce comes smiling.
because we had the combo, man. We had the combo.
We
We
had the
yelled out the
combo.
window. Trey was turned up, and I was like, man, look, but you don't have to be upset about it,
yeah,
right? You don't.
like
You
that.
have the choice to, respond the way you decide to respond. So.
Yeah, and then also just going off of that is our thoughts don't care about, and I think I picked this up. Bruce told me to watch this little documentary on Netflix, which I think y'all should too, called The Secret.
Oh.
And I checked that out
Bob
the night
Proctor.
before last and then some today. Say what?
I said it's by Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
Watched it
Yeah.
this
So, oh, you did?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bro, it's good. So I think it was in that documentary where they said that the mind doesn't care what you want. It's like you can think, I don't want to crash my car into that building. I don't want to crash my car into that building. I
That's
don't
what
want to
you're
crash.
focusing
But now you're
Boom.
focused. Exactly. Now all your attention is focused on that.
Yes. And so it's about controlling the mind, and you decide what you think about. Like you're in complete control of that.
Right.
So if you don't even think about not wanting this, just don't want it, and think about something else. Think about the positive.
Right.
Don't think about things you don't want, because it's gonna come regardless.
And it almost seemed like it's habitual, right?
Yeah.
Like everything we do is habitual. Like our body is like, it's a crazy vessel, It tries to do what's best for us. And you can give it the worst food, the worst thing, it's going to do what it has to do
That's right.
for you to survive. And since we habitual, if you have the same thought and you constantly thinking negatively, if you go and sit on the couch for 3 days straight, then on the 4th day try and get up and go exercise, you ain't going to want to get up. If you sleeping all day, you ain't gonna have no energy. If you eating donuts every day for 2 months and you try to stop it, it's gonna be hard to stop. If you smoking cigarettes for an extended period of time, you try to stop, it's gonna be tough.
Right.
Everything, and that goes back to that word. I told you I have some favorite words, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Habits and momentum.
Yes.
And that's what that is. That second word you said, habitual, I like to say momentum. I like both of them, but I'm just saying, because that momentum thing is everything. Momentum is constant. You're either digressing right now or you're progressing right now.
Correct.
So my thing is finding that positive momentum. And the thing, how you stop the negative momentum is meeting that emotion where it is. Once you feel that emotion, meeting it and tricking your mind into believing that you're positive or believing positive
sometimes
things.
you got to do that. Sometimes you got to trick your mind into, because it's easier said than done. Everything is easier said than done because often all we do is say.
Right.
Very rarely do we do.
Yes.
Right.
And that's why that saying exists. It's easier said than done. Yeah, that's because that's what everyone is doing. But that's not who you have to be. If you decide to actually react and respond to these moments and these actions, you can create what you actually want, right? Like you said, tricking your mind. Yeah, sometimes, how many times have you been in a game and it's crunch time? You are very tired, but you go somewhere else, right?
Man.
Because you
You
tell
want it.
yourself, you want it, right? You're like, no, I'm dog tired, but I'm not about to let my team down. I'm not about to let my coach down.
Where does that come from, man?
That comes from inside. That comes from a will, a speaking to yourself, speaking these thoughts and these experiences in that very moment, which is all we have, right? We talked about this on the last podcast. We don't have the past and we don't have the future. All we have is right now.
Yeah.
So in that moment, that right now, you're telling yourself, this is what I am. And so you're able to become that because you actually believe it.
Yeah.
That's the power of the imagination.
Yeah.
Right? Which is spiritual sensation. That's what it is. And that's who we are. That's the power that we possess.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
So I know you do.
Yeah, man. Because
you're-
I'm thinking back, like, just another part of my story. I'm going to let one of y'all take it, man.
Mm-hmm.
But just another part of my story. I remember my dad. I told y'all my college version of myself,
Correct.
where I wasn't a basketball player up here.
Right.
So I wasn't a basketball player.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so, but in high school, I was that dude in my mind.
Yeah, we know.
In middle school, I was that dude in my mind.
Yeah.
And I knew there wasn't a question. Like I said, my shooting for the stars was the NBA. There wasn't a question that I'd make it to college. That's a joke.
Right.
I don't like college ball. So, I mean, that's just a pit stop. That was the pit stop in my mind. So there was one car ride I had with my dad. I remember the stoplight we were at and everything. And he was concerned. As y'all know, I'm a nice guy. I'm going to have to find a different word, bro.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like a nice guy, for lack of better words, and
Yes,
just
sir.
being
Yes, sir.
funny right
Yes,
now.
sir.
And my dad, I was too passive. And so my dad was being a good dad, saying, man, you won't make it to college being this passive. You got to be more aggressive and take initiative.
Yeah.
And I just told him, I wasn't moved by him. I said, dude, I'm going to college. Like that, I said, stop worrying about it. I'm going to get a scholarship.
Yeah.
Right.
There was no question in my mind. I hadn't gotten any letters from any colleges.
Yeah.
I just knew I was going to college.
Right.
Come on, bro.
Man, it's a trip how, and I don't know how I haven't mentioned this yet, but that was, shooting for the stars so you fall in the cloud, right?
Yeah.
I think it was probably 6th or 7th grade. I told my parents that so my stars was never the NBA, okay? Because I grew up skateboarding, writing music, writing poetry, into art, right? And then I started to, of course, societally, right? The girls liked the football and the basketball players, and I was athletic. And it was like, yo, why aren't you playing sports? I don't know. Let me try it. She likes it. She look good. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay? And I just became good at it. And so it got to a point where I was like, you know what? Mom, Dad, I'm going to get a college scholarship because I know y'all can't pay for college.
Yeah.
Right? And that was my reality. That's what I saw. That's what I knew. And I knew what I wanted for them based on what they have given me and provided for me within my experience up until that time. It was, I got to take care of y'all in this way because that's what we're taught, right? You go to college, you get a good job, blah, 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 blah. That's not necessarily the case nowadays. It's okay.
Definitely
but
not.
so I'm like, I'm going to get a college education because I know you guys cannot pay for it. Fast forward, I'm nearing my master's degree, right? So did we know about the law of attraction when we were talking to our parents at that time? No. Were we aware of intention and positive and negative thoughts and vibrations and duality and ebb and flow? No, we weren't aware of none of that. But naturally within us, we were able to convince and use our imagination because as children, that is when we are the most imaginative.
Yes.
And we tend to brush off children and stay in a child's place. And, they are inferior
Right.
to a grown-up. But it's
Right.
the grown-ups that have been brainwashed. It's the grown-ups that can't see through the bullshit.
Yeah,
Excuse
man.
me.
You good.
But the children, right, they can see if something's wrong or off, it's like, oh, hold on, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
Right, it's discernment. It's still there. And so that's pretty cool that you shared that story, man, because that is the power that we possess even when we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel me? So,
And then just knowing it though, once you become more mindful, things happen to people in life and they think it's a coincidence.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kind of like, Bob I think said it on the last episode where he said this is coincidence. He said it's not coincidence, Bob. Because it's not coincidence.
that's right.
Just like how
Everything happens for a reason.
Like I said earlier, man, it's no secret as to why we're all in here. I don't believe in the coincidence thing either. Like,
Yeah.
it's just it happened. You know what I'm saying? Deal
Yeah.
with it.
if something, right? Let's get back into etymology real quick. If something coincides with something else, what does that what does that mean to you?
It's connected
I would
with
say
it.
it's
Connected,
mixed.
yeah.
Yeah.
right? To coincide is to connect,
Yeah.
to be a part of. So a coincidence means that it's all a part. It's all supposed to be happening. It's one,
Right.
right? So no, it's not a coincidence this happened. This is
manifested.
exactly. We're supposed to coincide this way.
Right.
Okay.
And then you can go ahead, but just being more mindful, I think that was the point I was going to hit on at first, is how things happen coincidentally, or so we think. But for those who believe in this law, it happens coincidentally more. It coincidentally happens more often. You know what I'm saying? Like we happen to run into more coincidences than other people because we're more mindful.
And things begin to coincide.
Right. So now all of a sudden, it's coincidences left and right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
we're just on a different vibration for real.
Yeah.
No, so I will pretty much wrap it up with this. All right. And so again, intention is what we're talking about. And what we focus on and are intent about is what will appear. But we focus mainly on the things that we don't want, and we wonder why they keep appearing. Does that make sense?
Right. I think you said that's why most people say that the law of attraction doesn't work for them. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That law of attraction stuff don't work. It's because people keep seeing what they don't want.
Right.
But it's because that's what they're thinking about. So the law of attraction is actually working.
Yeah.
But their ignorance, right? Ignorance does not mean you're stupid. Ignorance means to ignore the facts. Okay, so they're ignoring the simple, natural fact that what you think is what you become. It's not like, it's funny that documentary is called The Secret, but like paradoxically, there's no secret.
It's everywhere.
Right? It's everywhere. You
Literally.
sit and watch that, and it's like, hold on, wait, this is a secret? No, it's kind of like a joke, if you will. It's called The Secret. It ain't no secret, though. So not all situations, okay, will ever happen exactly as we want them to happen, because a situation isn't just me, or it isn't just you. There's so many other factors within the situation that, you know, as far as variables, right, forces, people, all of that is involved, and they don't all need to work my way or your way, and they won't, because that's not the way things work. Everything you want to happen happens because of what effort and energy you are putting into it. All right, so if I am happening my way, though, I'm blissful, I'm happy, I'm energetic, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm giving, I'm loving, I am all of these higher vibrational things. That is what's going to manifest itself in front of you. Right. And so whether that shot falls or not, right? We all got basketball backgrounds. Whether the plant you've been nurturing comes to fruition or not, whether you are accepted or not, still be blissful, right? Just be that, be love, be happiness. We talked about in the first podcast. We don't have to be these constructs that have been given to us, right? A basketball player, a teacher, a rapper, a banker. Nah, we can be love. We can be happiness. We can be peace, right? We can be truth. We can be freedom. We can be justice. We can be all of these things because
you create your reality.
Exactly. And what do you want?
I like that he had that radio voice there. You
heard him come in.
I like that.
So, you know, would it be easier if there's a whole bunch of people in this room right now, would it be easier to control them or to control yourself?
It's impossible to control them.
Right? And it's not even a question. That's not even something that you have to think about ridiculously. So that is what we have to do first. That's what is the most simple. Get right with yourself, and everything outside of that will get right for you.
Yeah. And there's so it's kind of going off of that a little bit. And with knowledge that you acquire, it shouldn't be used for your own selfish benefit. Like there's a book, 48 Laws of Power, and a lot of people that I know, it was one of my favorite books, still kind of is, but it depends on the person who's reading the book, which is the case with a lot of books, but especially with this one, because it gives a whole lot of insight on how to obtain power. But you could be teaching an evil person how to obtain power, or you could be teaching a positive person. So with all of this, and why I just feel the way I do about the 48 Laws of Power, is because people can twist it into something dark. So my message to you is to not try to make this a selfish thing. When you accept the concept that we're all connected and that we can all live harmoniously together, it doesn't have to be the reason that people who come across that book. The first guy I come across who had the book was an AAU teammate, and he's pretty successful now, doesn't have that great of a background, but he was just one of them focused type of dudes.
Right.
Now he is where he is. I don't know if he's used it for the better or for the worse, but I know he told me because we were cool. But he was like, man, yeah, I keep this on me and I keep the Bible on me. And that's all the 2 books I need in life. He said, but I don't be sharing this book with everybody because everybody don't need to know this. And so a lot of people that know that book, again, they could be keeping it from other people so that they can have power over them. Mm-hmm. So if you know, once you become real with yourself and you can identify that nasty, greedy crap you got going on inside of you to obtain power, get rid of it, and then you can begin real ascension.
Right.
Like I said, you can either be better for people or you can be better than people. Yeah. You're getting better either way. You're going to eat either way. But it's way more fun to eat with people.
Agreed.
Right.
Eat with people.
Yeah.
That's
it, man.
You get what you
Yeah,
get.
it's real.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I like that word you used, rewind about 1:30. You said harmonious. And I'm just thinking about the world today and how non-harmonious people are.
Right.
Whether it's you and your family, distant, social distancing, people separated from each other.
Come on,
Nobody. We more separated from each other with these phones. This artificial device. We texting on the phone. We're more comfortable texting on Snapchat than we are talking to somebody in person. Yeah. Anxiety's up, and really where we're really not harmonious is one with each other and with nature. You know, I don't know if anybody's been noticing. CNN ain't been showing it, that's for sure. But the animals are going out, the bee population's going down, and most people are allergic to bee pollen. One, because they so filled with artificial substances that they're getting allergic to nature. Facts. And that's not natural. Facts. If you look allergies up on Google, you're going to see a lot of people up with tissues blowing. They try to make that seem like that's supposed to be something that's normal, and it's not. You're supposed to be able to eat from the crop, but not eat all of it, let it reproduce, and it'll grow more. Nature provides an abundance. And, and people are so divided. And what, I don't know where this quote's from, but it says, united we stand, divided we fall. And I feel like right now we really divided, and what we're trying to do is come back together. If I'm growing vegetables, I got this from Tosh Tariq Bey, a podcast he did on House of Reawakening Minds earlier today, and he said if I don't have any vegetables, but this lady over here, she makes this juice that I like. I don't have the juice, she don't have the vegetable, so I can give her my vegetable in exchange for that juice, and that's just going off of each other, and that's giving what you give.
That's right.
I don't know this knowledge. I don't know how to fix my car. I don't know how to set up this microphone, but Elijah does, and he don't know how. Maybe he's trying to get into nutrition. Maybe his nutrition game isn't as good as he wants it to be, and so I can help him out with nutrition as he helps me out on this podcast and everything.
When you answer your phone.
Once I answer my phone, I need to put that.
That boy be in nature. That's why.
Yeah, I ain't
come
mad
on now.
Utilize your resources. Man.
Yeah, but keep going.
Yeah, like we just gotta connect on a mental, physical, and spiritual level. We gotta bring, everything needs to come back together. We need to whenever the birds wake up and start singing, whenever the ants start crawling, that's when we need to be up and start our day. When the sun rises, as soon as the sun rises, whenever it falls, we go down. Everything needs to be in tune. Whenever the apple is ripe off the tree, that's when we eating the apples, not when it's not in season and we just
steroids in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everything's supposed to be, and nature makes it so simple for us. Simple. The color codes. A walnut. What's it look like? A brain. What's another example of something?
Veins.
You got
pretty much
from a food standpoint, right? You have carrots, right? You cut a carrot open, it looks a lot like an eyeball, right? It's because carrots are good for the eyes. It's funny you talk about like kidney beans. If you put 2 kidney beans on the plate, they look like kidneys. Not to say that beans are the best thing for the body, but there are a lot of different fruits and vegetables in nature that coincide directly with our body parts, and that's not a coincidence, right? It's the same thing with, roots on a tree or, veins on a leaf that look the same as the veins on our skin. Yeah, right. It's because we're all a part. Nature is one, many things, but one as a whole. Yeah. Right. I think the saying is one in the sea of many, but the sea of many is one. All right. So.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah. No, that's love though. It's a little tidbit.
Yeah. Yeah, but Trae, you got anything else to add before we wrap it up, man?
No, I'll end it with this, man. Just be you. Be your intrinsic self, and the journey starts from within.
Yes, sir.
I love it. All right, man. I guess it's time. Bruce knows what time it is. I don't know if y'all know what time it is.
It's time to eat.
Nah, it's
it's juice
time for the juice for the day.
Just for the day.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we actually had one earlier today, so we
did.
could, yeah.
We did.
All right, let's share it with us, man.
Yeah. So, of course, continuing off the 5 principles of light, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I'm not sure if we did the juice of the day on our last podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this being our third, we arrive at peace. And what better topic than peace at the moment for this law of attraction podcast? If there's anything that you leave with, I hope that you understand peace starts within. Okay, peace starts with yourself. You may be able to find peace in different areas, but it's very temporary, as we have all come to associate and understand from experience. But once we can find peace within, right, just being in a room, meditating, you don't even have to meditate. You could be reading, you can be listening to some music, but just being in your own space, within your own energy, your own vibration, and understanding who you are, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what gets you going, what wakes you up, just figuring out who you are. Peace comes from these things, and it's tough because of the distractions that we face. And there's a reason for those distractions. Those distractions are to distract you further away from your natural self, right? And so as we begin to realize that we have far more similarities than we do differences, being your intrinsic self stands and becomes more bold than ever, because we have the ability to define who we are and not let something or someone else define who or what we are. So just find that peace, love yourself. From that, you will begin to love others and love things that reflect you and the things you're thinking about and feeling. And most likely that'll begin to connect you and tie you back closer to nature, which is where you come from. So, hope y'all enjoyed that one. That's the peace aspect of the 5 principles of light, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It's Bruce Bay. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with us, man. Love.
Yes, sir. And we're going to be talking more about distractions on this next episode. You touched on it some in that last little segment. But in the meantime, peace is the word.
That's right.
Peace and
So
love.
that was your juice for the day, brought to you by our very own Bruce Bay.
Namaste.
Hey,
Peace.
this was a DoubleZero Nonsense podcast. Appreciate y'all joining us.
Peace.